Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and I'm back with another video. 2610 PTR has finished, so I thought it's about time to talk about 5 awesome things that are coming for the next patch and for Season 22. Now, maybe if you didn't catch any of the streams for the PTR or you haven't really checked any of it out, maybe you're keen to know what's coming when the season finally does roll around. We don't have a current end date for Season 21 at the time of recording, hopefully that will come soon. Best guess for season start is going to be probably the 20th of November, but it could be a week either way and we're just going to have to see. PTR was a ton of fun, albeit there were lots of technical difficulties, there were crashes, there were days that we couldn't log in at all, and the PTR did get extended by quite some time. Now, we did test quite a lot of things on stream. We didn't get to test absolutely everything because of the way the season theme works, but I think that's probably enough of a preamble and a waffle. Let's jump in and talk about 5 awesome things that you can look forward to in Season 22. Now, the first one is going to be half of the season theme. So in Season 22, it's called the Season of the Shadows, and by far for me, the best part about the season theme is part of it will be a 4th cube slot. So Kanai's cube normally has 3 slots, a weapon, an armor, and a jewelry. And for Season 22, we get a 4th slot, and you can put anything in there. Now, you can't double stack items, you can't put, say, 2 convention of elements in, you can't pick something that your class wouldn't normally have access to, but other than that, it's a 4th power in the cube. Now, it makes a tremendous difference. It really does open up an awful lot of build diversity. It opens up some unique things that we can only play on this season. So, for example, Crusader will be able to work in Norvald's set because weapons can go in the cube, and that's a pretty big multiplier. Again, Necromancer gets an awful lot out of this because generally the weapons and jewelry carry multipliers for Necro, and we can just pick an extra one. So there's going to be lots of really cool builds that we'll be able to do. Even for casual players, I think this is going to be tremendous because every single build in the game gets some kind of benefit. It's either extra power or it's extra damage reduction, and maybe for something like T16s or bounties, you've just got such a high utility value. You can get yourself extra gems, extra gold, extra move speed. It's just fantastic. I'm going to be really sad when it goes. Obviously, I'm very excited for Season 22. I want to play all 7 classes just to make the most out of this, and it really is a very good season theme. Now, moving us into the second awesome thing is going to be actually the other half of the season theme, which is the shadow clones. Now, this is where the Season of Shadow comes in. Whenever you click a shrine or a pylon, you'll get yourself a shadow clone little buddy who will basically wreck shop for you. Now, these things are super powerful, but they're not so powerful that they're going to break endgame, which is quite an important point. Now, they will pretty much help you out all the way up to tier level 120, so they're going to be good fun for leveling because you'll be able to get a shadow clone when you click a pylon, so you may be able to push the difficulty a little bit higher. Just bear in mind they only last 1 minute and they will go when you die, so you can't really stick the game on T6 unless you're really good at avoiding damage or you've got a lot of defensive buffs. But the idea is you click it, you click your pylon, you get your special effect as normal. You then also get this shadow clone that will do lots of damage for you. Now, for casual players, it means you'll be able to push a lot higher than normal because every so often when you get to the end of the Rift Guardian, you will have a pylon. It'll be like bringing your own kind of RGK. So these things will damage Rift Guardians quite a lot, all the way up to about tier 120. It's great for speed rifting because, again, if you're doing 100s or 90s or 105s, whatever level it is, these things do help you out a bunch. It is a nice damage boost every single time you click a pylon. The only worst thing is they don't follow floors, so if you do get a pylon right on the floor for the next level, it won't follow you. But other than that, it's going to be a lot of damage. Now, it is good that the scaling drops off. There is no exact formula for how it is that they work. Obviously, Blizz have probably kept that fairly secret, but it does look like their damage tails off significantly as we go higher. So from 130 onwards, it doesn't really look like these things are going to be doing much more than tickling or perhaps providing some on-the-screen effects. So it's not going to ruin endgame. We're not going to see 0 DPS characters clearing 150 next season. We're also not going to have to watch the higher end players fish and fish and fish trying to get the right rift with the right pylon. Now, each shadow clone comes with a predetermined build. It's a choice of 3, so it is a little bit random, so you will see some different things, but I just think this is going to make leveling really interesting, an absolute blast. I think it's going to be super useful whether you're doing T16, GR speed or pushing. These things are very interesting, and I think it's a really good season theme because whether you're the type of player who likes to make builds, you've got the 4th cube slot that we covered at the start, and if you're somebody who prefers environmental effects, then you've got the shadow clones. And these shadow clones will change how you play a little bit, again up to those kind of middle-ish high tiers of 120, you might want to be saving pylons more often than you would do for bosses. So again, there's going to be a little bit of a kind of dynamic around that. So I'm super excited for it. Absolutely can't wait. They have equalized the damage of the clones. They were a little wonky in the first round of PTR, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, the third awesome thing coming to Season 22 is actually a non-seasonal change as well. So the first two obviously you only get by rolling a seasonal character. This third one is going to be for everybody, and it is the change in Paragon points from Gold Find to Pickup Radius. Now that might sound like a really small change, but if you've ever done a challenge rift and a player's got 0 pickup radius, you know how irritating it is to try and pick up those health globes, or the progression globes rather, and just having to be 100% precise with it. Again, sometimes if you build yourself a speed build at the start of the season, you might have 0 pickup radius. It is super annoying, and getting that 5 pickup radius just is actually really, really nice. It means you'll always be able to pick up the orbs for you. Now obviously the way pickup radius works, each yard you add just adds significantly to the area, because obviously that's how it works. It's the radius of a circle. So support players in particular are going to get a lot of benefit out of this, but it does make those T16 smoother. It does make those speed rifts smoother. It also helps you out on your push, because occasionally you just need to get out of the way of an explosion really quick, or you just need to get those orbs and get moving because you're really pushing that timer pretty hard. So I think it's a very small change, but it's a very welcome one, and I'm very excited to see if there are any further changes that we get to the Paragon system in future patches. Personally, I'd love Primal Find to be a stat in this game, but that's more about me and my primal obsession. But anyway, let's move on to the fourth awesome thing now. This is actually going to be a build. This again will work off season, but nowhere near as well, because we are going to use the 4th cube slot. This for me, as things stand, is going to be the best build in the game, and it's the Bone Spear Necromancer. Now, I think this is going to be great no matter how you play this game. If you're a solo player, this is very powerful. You can clear T16 with 300k sheet damage. As of the last patch, that footage will be in my Necro Starter Guide. You literally find the pieces for this, and you will be absolutely crushing content very quickly. I think it's going to be the solo XP meta. We were doing 103, 104 in like 2-3 minutes with nice gear, but only 800 Paragon, which is obviously pretty good. You should find it fairly easy to get into a group with the Bone Spear Necro, because it is tanky, it does a lot of damage. It's not going to be quite as good as some of the higher end speed options like Legacy Dreams Mages, so rat runs, but it will still pack an awfully big punch. So group wise, you'll be able to get in, and it pushes really high because obviously it just does so much damage. With the 4th cube, obviously it is adding a lot of power, so if you do try and play this off season, you're not going to hit quite as hard. So it is quite interesting. This feeds back into number 1, which is the 4th cube slot. This is one of those builds that really does benefit from it. I'm probably going to start Necro. It's very casual friendly, very tanky, lots of damage, and I'm probably going to play Necro for quite a bit into the season, so really excited to play Bone Spear when the season does roll around. And that brings us to the 5th awesome thing. I've decided to pick another build for this. It isn't the most powerful build in the game, albeit that is how it looked when this was first introduced. This is the Thorns Crusader. Now, I used to play this build back in like Season 9, Season 10, around about that time in the game, and I just really like it. And the reason I think it's a good build is because, again, it's tremendously tanky. Now, it works on Thorns, so it's a bit of an unusual mechanic. It's a build that you will be able to keep adding to as the season goes, because getting those Thorns secondary rolls is quite challenging. So obviously to find good pieces with the stats you want and the Thorns can take quite some time. But I personally think the visual effect of the bombardment coming down looks good. I like the fact you have to group the enemies, and I like the fact that it does do an awful lot of damage. Now, it may well not be the Crusader's top push build next season. That will probably still go to shotgun, but it is fun to have something new. And as I say, maybe I'm just biased. It's something I used to enjoy playing quite a while ago, so I'm really pleased it's made a comeback. And as I say, lots of defensive stats on this thing, so casual players, you will be able to take this fairly high. You know, your risk of dying is pretty minimal. It does have a rotation to learn, so it's not quite as easy as the Bone Spear. It's not going to be as easy as a God DH, but I do think it's pretty good for it to come back. But they are the 5 awesome things that I'm personally really looking forward to for Season 22 and patch 2.6.10. We obviously could have picked more builds. We don't have the final patch notes as of yet, so the Thorns Crusader could move up. We could get a significant wizard change, maybe to something like Twister or Hydra. So obviously not entirely 100% what it is that we're going to be getting, but as I say, the PTR was an awful lot of fun. We blasted it pretty hard. I'm really excited for Season 22. Do come by and see me on Twitch. hang out my YouTube videos, come say hello if you can whilst I'm live at some point, and yeah, we'll shoot the breeze. I'll be playing all 7 classes across the season, both softcore and hardcore. I absolutely can't wait. It's going to be a really good one. I've been the Filthy Casual. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take it easy. I'll see you again real soon. Peace.